All right, today we're going to go on a journey, and not just into a glass of wine, but thousands of years back in time. We're going to uncover the story of one of the world's most ancient and, frankly, most powerful grapes. So, I want you to forget about superheroes for a minute. Let's think about a different kind of hero. One with deep, deep roots, a really dramatic personality, and a story that spans millennia. A hero that has survived, well, pretty much everything, and is only just now getting the global spotlight it absolutely deserves. And its name is Saperavi. Right there, in the name itself, you get your first huge clue to its identity: dire, colorant. See, this is not a subtle grape. It's a grape that makes a statement, and it all starts with its unbelievably deep, inky color. To really get what Saperavi is all about, we have to go back, way back. And I mean to the very beginning of wine itself. 8,000 years. No, that is not a typo. We have archaeological evidence that tells us that winemaking in Saperavi's homeland, the country of Georgia, goes back 8,000 years. This isn't just old, this is literally the cradle of viticulture. Saperavi isn't just part of wine history, in so many ways it is wine history. So just to put this into perspective, we start way back around 6000 BCE with the first hints of winemaking. Fast forward a bit, and for centuries, Saperavi was the go-to grape for Georgian nobility. And now, you flash forward to today, and this ancient hero is staging a massive comeback on the world stage. It's incredible. So what is it that makes this grape so special? What gives it this heroic character that's captivated people for so long? Well, it's really a combination of its natural gifts and the unique traditions that shaped it. Okay, let's break down Saperavi's core identity. Think of these as its superpowers. First, you've got that signature deep, deep color. Then you have these powerful, firm tannins that give it a ton of structure and a really high, vibrant acidity that keeps it so fresh. Add in those classic aromas of blackberry, plum, and spice, and what you have is a wine that's literally built to age for decades. So where does all that incredible color come from? Well, the secret is in its thick skin, which is just loaded with these things called anthocyanins. Those are the natural pigments that basically act like a dye, staining everything they touch and giving the wine its famous, almost black appearance. But listen, the grape is only half the story. The other half is this, the kivivri. This is the ancient Georgian method. Grapes are put into these massive clay vessels, which are then buried completely underground. The earth provides this perfectly stable, cool temperature, which allows for a slow, natural fermentation. It's a technique that's thousands of years old, and it gives the wine a character you just can't get any other way. Now, for most of its 8,000-year history, Saperavi pretty much stayed close to home, but not anymore. Now this ancient grape is packing its bags and going on a world tour. So where in the world is it? Well, naturally, Georgia is still the undisputed heartland, with about 3/4 of all the Saperavi on the planet. But look where else it's popping up. The United States, Australia, Argentina, Brazil. Winemakers all over the globe are starting to get really curious about this ancient hero. And what's so fascinating is that Saperavi doesn't taste the same everywhere. It's incredibly expressive of its terroir, its home. You plant it in a warm climate like Argentina, you're going to get riper fruits, softer tannins. But plant it in a cooler spot like the Finger Lakes in New York, and that signature high acidity and firm structure just sing, with all these fresh red fruit notes. Okay, so to really get a handle on Saperavi, it helps to put it in the ring with some more familiar faces. Let's see how our hero stacks up against the competition. So let's start with a real heavyweight champion, Cabernet Sauvignon. Both of them make these big, full-bodied red wines, right? But the key difference is that Saperavi leads with this really pronounced acidity and these intense, spicy red fruit notes. Cabernet, on the other hand, is better known for its structured tannins and more of those classic herbaceous black fruit flavors. You know, putting them side by side like this really makes one thing crystal clear. Just look at that acidity column. Next to other full-bodied grapes like Cabernet, or even lighter ones like Portugal's Tinta Broca, Saperavi's high acidity just jumps off the page. That's its signature. That's the backbone that makes it so great with food and lets it age for so long. So, after 8,000 years, what's next? You might think Saperavi's story is done, but it's far from over. In fact, its most exciting chapter might just be beginning right now. Of course, the path forward has its bumps. It's a really crowded market out there, and let's be honest, a lot of wine drinkers simply haven't heard of it yet. But the opportunities? They are huge. People are getting tired of the same old thing. They're actively looking for unique, authentic wines. And Saperavi is so versatile. It can make stunning reds, rosés, and even sparkling wines. So we're going to see winemakers focusing even more on expressing specific places. They're going to be experimenting with new blends and embracing sustainable farming. And behind the scenes, you've got researchers who are continuing to unlock the genetic secrets of this ancient grape. The evolution is happening as we speak. Ultimately, I think it all comes down to this. Saperavi is so much more than just a grape. It's a living, breathing piece of cultural heritage, a symbol of Georgia's identity, and a true treasure that we are all now lucky enough to discover for ourselves. So the next time you're looking for a bottle of red wine, maybe just skip the usual suspects, because you have a chance to pour a glass of something truly heroic. And my only question for you is, are you ready to taste 8,000 years of history?